talk. So let's head to Germany, where a political crisis has erupted. Germany's three-party coalition has collapsed after ministers from the Free Democrats quit the government, likely paving the way for early elections next year. Their exit comes after German Chancellor Olaf Scholz sacked his finance minister. He said Christian Lindner, who leads the Free Democrats, had broken his trust too often, making serious government work impossible.
Too often, after the necessary compromises have been drowned out by publicly staged disputes and loud ideological demands. Too often, Federal Minister Lindner has blocked laws in an irrelevant manner. Too often, he has engaged in petty party political tactics. Too often, he has broken my trust. He even unilaterally withdrew from the budget agreement after we had already agreed on it in lengthy negotiations. There is no basis of trust for further cooperation. Serious government work is not possible in this way.
And as mentioned, this is expected to trigger a general election in Germany early next year, leaving a void at the heart of Europe, just as concern is growing in EU capitals over what a second Trump presidency will mean for transatlantic relations. Let's go live to Berlin now, speak to our correspondent there, Damien McGuinness. Good morning to you, Damien. So presumably lots of reaction this morning. It was quite a dramatic day yesterday.
Yeah, and that was a scathing attack, wasn't it, by Chancellor Scholz on his own finance minister. That's unprecedented in modern German politics, to have a chancellor be so critical, so openly, of one of his own ministers. And I think for a long time now, we've realised this government wasn't going to last the full course. It wasn't quite clear what would happen, when the end would come, but I think it has been clear for a while that the end was nigh. And what we've now seen, really, essentially, it's a conflict over ideological differences between how to get the German economy going. You have two very different camps within the coalition government, and one of them was led by Chancellor Scholz, his centre-left Social Democrats, supported by the Greens. What they believe, they want to loosen Germany's tough and strict constitutional rules against taking on new debt. They want more borrowing in order to help Ukraine, to get the economy going, to invest in infrastructure. Chancellor Lindner, ex-finance minister now, Christian Lindner, who leads a free market liberal party, he has the exact opposite approach. He says, no, you need to cut taxes, you need to limit borrowing, and that's how you're going to get the economy going. And of course, those two positions now appear irreconcilable. And that's essentially why the government has fallen apart, leading a lot of insecurity. But I think there is a feeling here in Germany from a lot of people that the government had become so blocked anyway between these two camps in the coalition that actually fresh elections, early elections are, in many people's eyes, better, because it means that actually there's a solution in sight rather than hobbling on to next September when ordinarily the elections would come, because of course there are lots of challenges globally for Germany to deal with. So you really need a government that's effective and united in its approach, particularly on the economy.
But the question is, early next year, is that what voters will get?
Yeah, so the time frame now will be on January 15th, the vote of confidence in the German parliament. That is likely to lead to early elections by the end of March. And I think what we've already seen really in the polls is that voters have had enough of this coalition. The arguments really for the past year have been unbearable for most people to watch. You're looking at a coalition that's been pulling in two separate directions. And that's really why a lot of people really want things to change. And so what's likely to happen is early elections. And I think we're already seeing on the media today, German leaders of all the parties are already in election mode. And we're seeing this in the blame game as who is responsible now for the government to have collapsed. And that's why Chancellor Scholz's speech last night was so harsh, because he was keen to set the record straight in his eyes, to clearly blame the free market liberals for the collapse of the government. Of course, they would blame the Chancellor. They say, well, he's stuck in the past. He simply wants to support industry with subsidies and higher taxes. That's not the way to get the economy going. That's what the free market liberals say. So you're seeing now a very clear, already a very clear competition between those who are more of a free market approach and those who really want to support industry more. And I think that's part of the election season that we're already seeing getting going this morning here in Germany.